live stream, and today's topic is could Nintendo take over from Microsoft, and are Microsoft really in as much trouble as we're hearing? So, Nintendo are huge at the minute. The Switch is a massive success. The Switch 2 is looking to be, um, well, up and about. There's some rumours going on there, and as long as Nintendo play their cards right and listen to what people are wanting, then there's no reason why the Switch 2 couldn't be a big success. I'm not going to say it's going to be as big a success as the Switch, but I don't think the Switch 2 is going to flop as long as, like I say, Nintendo just pay attention to what people are saying. That they made a big mistake with the going from the Wii to the Wii U, and I don't think they want to replicate that again. I think they possibly will have learnt from their mistakes and really need to turn notifications off. Um, but Microsoft, on the other hand, with the Xbox, it's a common. Oh dear, I really can't get the words out today. It's in the news everywhere that Microsoft are struggling. Their Xbox line isn't doing as well as they expected, and I think original Xbox done really well. Xbox 360, I think that outsold the PS3 by quite a margin. But the Xbox One apparently wasn't a massive selling console, and they're having similar issues with the Series X. And from what I can gather from all the sort of news reports and things that are going around and sort of game and chat, it's possibly bad decisions at Xbox head office, or just they seem to be sort of at loggerheads, and maybe there's not the right people in charge. I can see the Xbox line going the same way as Sega did, where they just release poor console after poor console, and the competition is too strong for them to keep up, or for them to gain enough market share to keep it going. I see a lot of similarities between Xbox and Sega. Some of the problems with Sega is that there was Sega of Japan and Sega of America, I think, and they seem to want to take their consoles and their games in different directions, and there really wasn't. They just weren't really talking to each other, and there's some. They were developing one console in one place and one in another, and then they were arguing over which one was going to be, and it was bad communication and bad decisions on Sega's part, along with obviously Sony coming in and muscling in. But there are a lot of similarities, I think, with Sega to Microsoft. Now, I find it slightly ironic that some of the demise of Sega is down to Microsoft coming in and bringing out the Xbox. The Xbox, I always dubbed as sort of like the Dreamcast 2, because it took so many features and whatnot. But anyway, we're getting a little bit distracted there. I think Nintendo, as long as they do as they are doing now, and as long as they to listen to the market, listen to current Nintendo users, listen to what's going on in the games world, they're not going to have any problems. So if Microsoft and Xbox don't pick up, if they don't, I mean, there's even rumours that there will not be another Xbox hardware. We will not see the Xbox Series X2 or XS, whatever they're going to call it. It and these are all rumours. But if it's as a dire time for Xbox as we think, then it's going to leave. It's not even a two-horse race, is it? Because Nintendo are Nintendo; they do their own thing. You cannot compare Nintendo with the likes of Sony and Microsoft, because they're in a different market. Their consoles are different. They don't aim for the latest and pushing technology. That they go a different route, and it works, and it always works for Nintendo on that front. And they have a unique selling point, whether that's motion control or hybrid consoles or extreme battery life. Nintendo are just a little bit different. I think the only console that I can think of that was on par with the rest is the GameCube, because that was GameCube. What are we talking there? PS2 and PS2 and original Xbox. That's the generation for the GameCube, and the Cube was vastly more powerful. But that's about the only time I can remember that Nintendo have gone in all guns blazing. Otherwise, it's Wii with its motion controls and the Switch with its hybrid. You can take it wherever you like. So Nintendo do their own thing, so you can't really call them competition to Sony, at least in hardwares anyway. There's easily a possibility that Nintendo will outsell Sony, but I don't think Sony are too worried about that, because they have a different market. They go for the latest and greatest hardware and pushing this and pushing that, which is what Microsoft do. So Microsoft and Sony are in the same sort of boat in terms of that. And it seems as if Sony are winning, which surprised me, because I just didn't think the PS5 was doing very well. I thought the Xbox was doing massively well, but it turns out that I think the PS5 has outsold the Xbox Series X 5-1 or 4-1, and there's people at Microsoft and Xbox really sort of panicking as to what they're going to do for the future. Now, they have bought a lot of developers. I think they all now own Bethesda. They've just had this Activision takeover. So is there a possibility that Microsoft are looking to dip out of hardware altogether, or take it in a different direction? Are they going to sell their games to other systems? There were even talks of Microsoft bringing the Xbox Game Pass to the Nintendo Switch. That would be amazing, and that is a possible thing that they could do for the Switch 2, because the Switch 2 is going to be just that bit more powerful and probably could cope with more powerful games. So could Microsoft become the next Sega, where they dip out of the hardware market and concentrate on their game franchises and sales? Because Sega is still about. There's numerous new Sega Sonic games, and some of the other franchises from Sega are out. When they killed off the Dreamcast, they moved a lot of their games to the Xbox. So you can get things like Shenmue on the Xbox, Jet Set Radio. There were Sonic games, but they also obviously brought them onto other platforms, and that's the way Sega has been for the last 20 odd years. Just a software company, a games company, keeping most of their franchises alive. There's a possibility that is what Microsoft are going to do. They're just going to look at what IPs they hold, and either go down this whole sort of cloud streaming thing. So they could just go that route, or they could bring out their games on other systems. I think gone are the days where you go and buy a Nintendo console because you want to play Mario. Bad example, because Mario will always be Nintendo. Alright, so you go out and buy a Sega console because you want to play Sonic the Hedgehog. You go out and buy an Xbox because you want to play Halo or Gears of War. I think if Microsoft do end up ducking out of the hardware market, we could see all of these great games on other systems. Wouldn't it be great to be able to play Halo on the Switch 2, or Gears of War on a PS5? And there is that possibility that that's where they're going to go. It depends on how drastically bad things are for Microsoft and the Xbox hardware. Like I said, there's some rumours that the next revision of the Xbox is on its way, could come out early, but there's no doubt that there are some issues for Microsoft and the Xbox brand. So it's going to be an odd one. It seems as if Sony are kind of sitting pretty, and they don't seem to be having any issues. Bit of a slow uptake of sort of PS5, but some of that was pandemic and lack of being able to get the parts. But it appears as if the PS5 is doing very well. We're now 4 years into the Sony's life, the PS5's life. So I'm pretty sure they're looking at either the PS6, but obviously that's a few years away yet. Like I said, there were rumours that Microsoft were going to bring forward the release of their next console, the fabled Xbox Series XS or Xbox Series X2. But I'm not even sure if that's true, if they're making one or not. So it's interesting to see what the next 12 months will bring for Microsoft, and whether they manage to get their house in order and be able to pull together and just sort out whatever issues they've got. Could they not go down the Sega route and fall to pieces and just become a software company? Who knows? All we know is that Nintendo are going from strength to strength, and as long as they don't trip themselves up with the Switch 2, then they could easily, if the Switch 2 goes as successfully as the Switch has done, then they could easily become the biggest selling games manufacturer, console maker ever, and really hold the market. And if the Switch 2 is powerful enough, they could knock Microsoft out. They could squash the Xbox, or at least put it into third place. Who knows? It's a minefield. Will Nintendo do really well? Don't know. Will Microsoft go down a software only or a game only option for Xbox? Who knows? Will they bring out another hardware? We're not entirely sure yet. The next 12 months will see huge changes for both Microsoft and Nintendo, and well, Sony just seems to be doing what they're doing and doing well. So let me know what you think. Are Nintendo going to become the next Microsoft, or are Microsoft going to become the next Sega? Like, subscribe, enjoy.